Topic 1. Adaptation of plants to extreme environments. The plants that live in the salinity conditions are salt-sensitive, glycophytes, and salt-resistant halophytes. The mechanism they use is the salt exclusion mechanism that prevents excessive salt uptake to the specialized root structure or cellular mechanisms. The second one is the compartmentalization, which isolates salt within the vacuoles to maintain cellular integrity. The next one is the compatible solutes, produce molecules like proline and glycine betaine to stabilize protein and cellular structures. As example, mangrove thrive in the saline coastal environments using salt exclusion and compartmentalization mechanisms. They filter out salt to the specialized root structure and compartmentalize it within the vacuole. The next condition is the cool freezing weather. They have the anti-freeze protein AVPS that prevent ice crystal formation in cells by binding to ice crystal and inhibiting their growth. The next one is the osmoprotectors that protect cellular structures by balancing osmotic pressures. And the next one is the cool responsive genes that enhance tolerance to low temperatures by regulating the various pathways involved in cool stress response. As example, the Oryza sativa or rice has the cool responsive genes that help enhance tolerance to low temperatures, ensuring better growth and survival in cooler climates. For the third condition, they have the deep root system that access water from deeper soil layers, ensuring a more reliable water supply during the dry periods. They also have the stomatal closure that reduces water loss to the transpiration by closing tiny opening on livers. They also have the ABA productions, which is a plant hormone that regulates water use and stress responses, signaling the plant to close the stomata and reduce water loss. As example, cactus have a deep root system and thick water storing stems that allow them to survive in the environment that have low water supply. For the hot weather conditions, they have the heat shock proteins to protect and repair heat damaged proteins acting as the molecular chaperones. They also increase the antioxidant synthesis to mitigate the oxidative stress caused by the high temperatures by neutralizing the reactive oxygen species ROS. The membrane lipid composition alteration also help to maintain the cell integrity at high temperatures by altering the membrane lipid composition. As example, the saguaro cactus use the HSPs to survive the extreme desert heat, stabilizing the proteins and protecting the cellular functions. In conclusion, understanding this adaptation not only highlights the resilience of plants but also provides the insight into developing crops that can withstand the extreme conditions, potentially addressing the food security issues in affected regions.
Next, we will discuss the topic about how flowers use their appearances to attract pollinators. As we know, pollination is essential for plant reproduction, and many plants rely on animals to transfer pollen between flowers. Flowers has developed unique traits to attract specific pollinators. Color of the flowers is one of the most important ways plants attract pollinators. Different pollinators are drawn to specific colors based on their vision. For example, butterflies are attracted to bright colors like red, orange, and purple. Other than that, bats prefer white or pale colored flowers that stand out at night. Bees, on the other hand, are particularly drawn to yellow and blue flowers. And lastly, flies are attracted to dull purple flowers. By tailoring their colors, plants ensure they appeal to the right pollinators. Just like color, the shape and size of flowers are designed to match the body structure of specific pollinators. Tubular flowers are ideal for animals with long tongues or beaks like hummingbirds or butterflies, allowing them to reach deep into the flower. Next, wide open flowers provide a landing platform which is perfect for bees and beetles. Then, smaller clustered flowers allow pollinators to gather nectar quickly from multiple flowers in one visit, boosting pollination efficiency. A great example of this is lavender or clover, where many tiny flowers grow in clusters. Scent is another powerful tool that plants use to attract pollinators. Depending on the pollinator they wish to attract, flowers produce different types of scents. Sweet-smelling flowers like roses appeal to bees and butterflies. Magnolia flowers emit a strong musky scent to attract beetles and bats. On the other hand, flowers like Rafflesia, which emit a rodent smell, attract flies by mimicking decaying matter. This scent guides pollinators directly to the flower, increasing the chances of pollination. Nectar serves as a reward for pollinators. By providing nectar, plants encourage pollinators to return repeatedly, increasing the likelihood of pollen transfer. The more visits a flower receives, the higher the chance of successful pollination. Some flowers have markings on their petals called nectar guide. These markings direct pollinators toward the nectar, ensuring they brush against the reproductive parts of the flower. For bees, Many nectar guides are visible in ultraviolet light which they can see but human cannot. Finally, timing is also crucial for successful pollination. Flowers often bloom during times where their pollinators are most active. For example, day-blooming flowers attract bees, butterflies, and birds. In contrast, night-blooming flowers like the moonflower release their scent and open at night to attract bats and moths. This synchronization maximizes pollination efficiency. To summarize, flowers rely on color, shape, scent, nectar, and blooming times to attract and guide pollinators. This adaptation ensures that plants successfully reproduce and maintain biodiversity.
The next topic of our discussion is how animals produce chemicals known as toxins to protect themselves from predators. These toxins do not harm the organism that synthesize them but are often highly poisonous to other species, including humans. Toxins vary in their toxicity, biological roles, and chemical structure. Their primary function include defense, communication, and prey capture, in which in this discussion we will be focusing on the defense. Let's go through the example of organism. First of all, we have strip skunk, in which we know release a foul-smelling spray from anal glands, deterring predators and causing temporary blindness if sprayed in the eyes. This spray contains a sulfur-containing compound like thioacetate and thiols, which contribute to the foul smell. Next, we have golden poison dart frog. This frog have an extremely potent alkaloid, which is batrachotoxin. This toxin derived from their diet, specifically toxic beetles. It is secreted through the skin and disrupts sodium-ion channel in nerve and muscle, causing paralysis or death in predators. Other than that, the frog have a bright color to relate its toxicity to the potential threats. Other than that, we also have a marine organism which is pufferfish. This fish contains an extremely potent poison which is mainly found in the liver and sex organ of some fish, which include pufferfish. This toxin can cause paralysis or death in predators once ingested. The last organism is monarch butterfly. The monarch butterfly have a poison called cardenolides stored in their body because they eat it once they were caterpillars. This chemical can help with heart problems but also can kill people if they consume too much of it. The predator that ingests this butterfly might die, especially vertebrates. The compound acts by disrupting the predator's heart function by inhibiting the sodium-potassium pump in the organism. Additionally, same as the frog, it has a bright orange and black coloration acting as a visual warning to the predators. In conclusion, toxins play an important role in the defense of many organisms, serving as a potent deterrent against predation. This is often in the form of chemical defense that harm or kill predators that would affect the survival of toxin-producing species. Many toxic organisms advertise their toxicity with approximately signaling, which often in the form of bright coloration. The bright color deter predators from attack. Many predators learn to avoid them from experience. These interactions have a great influence on predator-prey dynamics, which shape the food webs and contribute to the ecological balance within ecosystem.
Now, I will be discussing how plants compete for vital resources such as light, nutrients, and space. Unlike animals, plants are immobile organisms. This means they depend entirely on their immediate environment to survive. First, competition for light. The Shorea genus grows rapidly to form the forest canopy, competing intensely for sunlight. An example is Shorea curtisi. They overshadow smaller plants, forcing understory species to adapt to low light conditions. Next, lala grass. It grows quickly to capture sunlight, outcompeting slower growing native plants. It forms dense clumps that shade out seedlings of other species. The last one is calamus species. They climb up taller trees to access sunlight, avoiding ground level competition. This strategy allows them to thrive despite not being canopy trees. Other than that, plants also compete for nutrients. The first one is oil palm. Widely cultivated in Malaysia,
Oil palm plantation compete with the weeds for soil nutrients. The palm high nutrient demand often depletes soil fertility in monoculture plantations. The next one is rubber tree. In rubber tree plantation, these trees compete with the undergrowth for nutrients. Farmers manage this competition through weeding and fertilization, ensuring that rubber trees have enough resources to grow. And last one is rhizophora. In nutrient-poor coastal soils, mangrove like Rhizophora apiculata compete for scarce nutrients. Their specialized root systems such as pneumatophores and prop roots allow them to outcompete other coastal plants. Hence, plants also compete for space. For example, Bambusa vulgaris spreads aggressively through rhizome. It monopolizes space in forests and open areas, preventing other plants from growing. The next one is Lygodium japonicum, or known as climbing fern. This invasive fern spreads quickly by climbing other native vegetation, covering and suffocating plants below it. It is often found in disturbed areas. And last one is Ficus benjamina. It starts as epiphytes on host trees. Over time, they send roots to the ground and envelop the host tree, competing for nutrients and space until the host tree dies. In conclusion, plants compete with each other for essential resources like light, nutrients, and space to survive and grow. This competition shapes ecosystem by influencing which plants thrive with which struggle. Understanding this interaction is important for managing ecosystem, conserving biodiversity, and ensuring the balance of natural environments.